Welcome back to The Explainer. If you're a focused learner trying to cut through all the noise out there, you are in the absolute right place. Today, we're tackling something literally fundamental to our existence, yet completely misunderstood in modern life: our food. We're going to systematically break down exactly how we lost our connection to what we eat, the literal science behind why it happened, and most importantly, how we can get it back. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever eaten a completely full meal and 30 minutes later, you genuinely couldn't even remember what it tasted like? I mean, not because you weren't hungry, but because you scarfed it down standing over the kitchen sink or sitting alone in traffic, or maybe aggressively scrolling through your phone with one thumb. You know the feeling, right? The food just kind of disappeared. The actual experience of eating never really registered. And honestly, that distracted, almost unconscious consumption, that's become the absolute hallmark of the modern eating experience.
Which brings us to Chapter 1, the fast food shift.
So, think back to 1948. That's when the speedy service system hit the scene, radically redesigning the humble food stand to standardize literally everything and completely eliminate slowness. Contrast that with a typical Tuesday in 1955, where a family dinner meant a solid 40 minutes of meal prep. And hey, it wasn't necessarily magical quality time, it was just dinner. But here's the crazy part. By engineering out the natural slowness of cooking and prioritizing identical speed across the board, our environment drastically changed. We went from a 13% obesity rate in 1960 to an obesity rate of over 40% today.
And that brings us to a massive number, $370 billion. That's billion with a B. That is exactly what Americans spent on fast food in 2023 alone. To put that into perspective, we spent just $6 billion back in 1970. This massive system didn't grow because people woke up and actively wanted worse health. No, it grew because the industry made fast food the absolute path of least resistance. It got cheaper, it got faster, and it was suddenly everywhere. We essentially replaced the visible, physical infrastructure of real food with this invisible, omnipresent infrastructure of drive-thrus.
So how did they hook us? That's Chapter 2, Science of the Craving. Now, what's really interesting about this is the biology behind it. For roughly 100,000 years, our ancestors scavenged for rare, calorie-dense fats and sugars. I mean, those intense cravings literally kept early humans alive. Food scientists totally know this, and they've essentially hacked our ancient survival mechanisms. Enter the bliss point. By engineering this unnatural, hyperspecific ratio of sugar, salt, and fat, a combination that is almost biologically impossible to find together in nature, they trigger this massive dopamine release in your brain. It forces a tolerance loop that perfectly mirrors addiction. It's wild. So compare that engineered trickery directly with real, actual food. Junk food relies on this concept called vanishing calories. It's designed to melt incredibly fast in your mouth. This completely bypasses and confuses your brain's volume sensors, leading to a massive blood sugar spike and flooding your system with ghrelin. That's your hunger hormone. Whole foods, on the flip side, require what we call essential biological friction. Stuff like mechanical chewing. The natural dietary fiber in apples or beans literally delays gastric emptying. Your stomach is forced to actually work and pace the digestion, which in turn gives you stable, reliable energy. I really want you to internalize this next point. You know that dreaded 2 p.m. crash you feel every single afternoon? That is not a personal failure. It's not a lack of willpower. It is a violently engineered blood sugar spike followed by an inevitable insulin flood. That fatigue zone and that artificially accelerated hunger you feel, those are deliberate, engineered, designed features of processed foods. Your body isn't failing, it's just reacting exactly the way it was manipulated to.
But there is a way out. Chapter 3, the whole food solution. And this brilliantly illustrates how ancient wisdom perfectly lines up with modern longevity and hormone science. Think about olive oil. Historically used for biblical healing, it's now scientifically proven to boost testosterone and protect heart health. Or the pomegranate, known historically as a sacred longevity fruit. And today, clinical studies show it literally crushes the stress hormone cortisol and can even reverse arterial plaque. Clean fish was an ancient staple, and now we know it provides essential omega-3s for brain volume. Even eggs, the absolute classic traditional breakfast, give your body the exact cholesterol and healthy fats it needs as vital building blocks for hormones and muscle. It's like nature had it right the whole time.
And hey, you don't need some unlimited premium budget to get these superpowers. Some of the most accessible, cheap foods out there are doing massive heavy lifting at a cellular level. Take spinach. It's loaded with magnesium, which literally frees up bound testosterone in your bloodstream. Black beans, they give you this amazing cost-effective combo of plant protein and fiber.
Throw in some garlic and ginger to actively crush cortisol and oxidative stress, like your own internal defense system. And good old oats give you that soluble fiber for slow-release mechanical energy. These aren't just foods, they are active cellular repair kits. Now, we've all seen the endless marketing wars out there between different diet tribes, right? You've got Mediterranean, Paleo, Dash, Whole30, Flexitarian, the list goes on. But here's the secret. Despite all their differing strict rules, the underlying reason every single one of these diets actually works is exactly the same. It's just the complete removal of highly processed engineered junk and a return to single, natural, whole ingredients. That's the whole shebang.
So let's make this practical. Chapter 4, Reclaiming Your Daily Plate.
Think of this as your biological blueprint for the ideal plate. You need protein for true, lasting satiety. You need whole grain carbohydrates for usable, slow-releasing energy. And you absolutely need real fiber to naturally pace your digestion. Listen, a real meal shouldn't feel like a rapid drive-through transaction, and it definitely shouldn't be a dessert disguised as food. It needs to be built with intention. So the crucial point is applying all of this to what's often our hardest meal of the day, breakfast. Let's look at 3 strategies. First, the classic: oatmeal, berries, and nuts. This leverages beta-glucan for heart health and steady energy. Next, we have the muscle builder: eggs, spinach, and sourdough. This combo delivers choline for your brain and high-quality protein to keep you full. Finally, the quick fix: Greek yogurt, fruit, and seeds. You get calcium, live cultures, and 0 sugar crashes. The beauty here is that these specific ingredient combinations enforce natural portion control through that biological friction we talked about earlier.
Bringing it all home with Chapter 5, Small Acts of Resistance.
Let's see how this builds into actionable habits you can literally start today. Here are 3 entirely free, completely doable steps. Step 1. Cook just one single meal this week with 0 screens involved. Step 2. Actually sit down at a table, put the food on a plate, and give it just 3 minutes of your full, undivided attention before you even think about picking up your phone. And step 3, eat one thing this week that has exactly 1 ingredient: an apple, an egg, you get the idea. These tiny acts of resistance are exactly how you break those engineered habit loops. I want you to consider this quote: "You are not the customer, you are the product." When we step back and look impartially at the modern food industry's design, it's pretty clear it wasn't actually built to nourish us. It was built to sell us speed. And when we prioritize extreme convenience above absolutely everything else, the hidden cost we're paying is our own biological machinery. So it really comes down to this: will you continue to choose the instant illusion of engineered convenience, or will you accept the upfront friction of a reclaimed life? Every single time you sit down to eat, you are actively giving instructions to your body. Just make sure they're the instructions you actually want to give. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take back your plate today. See you next time.